though this month not much is happening around League of Legends, with the latest story on Universe being still Renadas, and with the Voidy Champion and the event being nowhere in sight. It's still all fine because at least we have time to talk about things which we have previously skipped. By now, people should be aware of the fact that the Ruined King game was amazing when it comes to its lore. And out of all the champions, even though most journals were targeting what's happening around Thresh, it was Ahri who might have gotten the biggest reveal in the entire game. And that's all because, in the Ruined King, Riot started paying off Ahri's setup which was sitting there ready for a couple of years. And that is the mystery of her lost tribe. In case you don't remember, this entire mysterious storyline started with the fact that Ahri never learned who were her parents. The only thing she got which was connected to her past was a pair of stones. In the story called A Fair Trade, from a random trader in Ionia. After that trader tried to cut off Ahri's tails, Ahri learned that those stones were crafted by someone called Yamelo. And that name alone served as her only connection to finding out who her parents were. Now, for many years, that's where Ahri's story cut off. She learned about Yamelo, and then it stopped. Well, thankfully, that's where the Ruined King picked up the story. She learned that the name Yamelo can be traced back to Bilgewater, and so she picked up Yasuo as a bodyguard to help her on her quest. And as you go through the game, you learn about a really interesting thing. Ahri's tribe, called the Vasani, traveled from Ionia to the Blessed Isles, and there they started researching the White Mist. And from there, the rabbit hole doesn't end. So without further ado, let's have a look at all the journals in the Ruined King game that explain what happened to Ahri's tribe. The very first entry in the Vasani research log starts with the day 237. Which means that unfortunately, we don't know what happened to the Vasani before that. We just know that the tribe traveled from Ionia here to the Blessed Isles, but we don't really know what exactly led them here in the first place. Anyway, Vasani research log, day 237. I miss our home terribly, but our work alongside the researchers of Helya is nothing short of revolutionary. The White Mist is even more intriguing than we first thought. Coupled with our memory transfer spells, we have been able to utilize it as a conduit. The applications of this technology could have long-standing benefits to the Vasani, to the whole world, and it is important we continue our work. In this first entry, it is revealed that the Vasani can wield magic that can manipulate memories. This is crucial information that will give everything sense. Day 294. I fear some of our allies are growing complacent. We've been stationed here for some time, and we mustn't lose sight of our main purpose. Our tribe has long been concentrated on unearthing the past, seeking out artifacts of magical import, but our main cause cannot be lost. We must always work towards the betterment of this world, and towards the preservation of knowledge. The scholars of Helya are unified with us in this cause, but alas, we cannot forget the very tenets that led us to this island in the first place. Day 334. Yesterday marked a very important date in the Golem trials. One of the constructs managed to walk a full 3 steps on its own. I swear I saw some kind of life behind its stone eyes. The Mist transfer spell was only partially complete. I'm hoping with a bit more time I can use the magic to fully power a construct. I wish my father could see me now. Day 384. The vault remains strangely quiet and cold. I do wish we had picked somewhere else to house our research, but the people of Helya have been kind to grant us any space at all. Our relationship remains mutually beneficial, with a healthy share of knowledge and access to their technology, but I get the feeling that they remain skeptical of our true intent. The White Mist will be the key, and surely the work we do here will be remembered as nothing short of revolutionary. After this, there is also a log that steps away from the main research, and it reveals how the Vasani interacted with another really interesting character. In my continued conversing with the creature known as Maokai, I have gleaned many new insights into the nature of plant spirits. Maokai claims to be older than the islands themselves, thriving on the reserves of blessed water that run deep below the island. I can only begin to theorize that these waters are what dissolve into the white mist and are responsible for its unique properties. Tomorrow we are to have a picnic, and I will bring some of the Vasani wine I've been saving. I wonder if Maokai will enjoy it. Day 438. As Vasani, we pride ourselves in our connection to emotions and the soul, as well as a deep understanding of the memories of mortal beings. With the aid of technology, Helia's wisdom, and the white mist, we have finally devised a method of storing memories into crystals. To record a living history, to truly preserve the past, that is our goal. We will forge a great living library, and all the world will blossom with the seeds of our knowledge. What this entry reveals is that it was the Vasani who helped building the great library of Helia. And after they learned how to store memories in crystals, they were hoping this library would preserve the knowledge of the entire world. But then, about 130 days later, we get one last entry. Being stuck in this vault has me missing the field. As a wandering tribe, we have called many places home, but being confined to this vault, it is stiffening. At least we have our research and our mission. To preserve the knowledge of the past, to seek out magic to better the world. That optimism will have to be my guiding light, I suppose. This one is interesting. He mentioned that they are trying to seek out magic to better the world. If you combine this with the fact that they traveled to the Blessed Isles with some kind of a purpose, this was mentioned in an earlier entry, I wouldn't be surprised if the Vasani traveled to the Blessed Isles after the Rune Wars. And it was the destructive magic that made them come here. But before all of this, in fact exactly 3 days before the first entry, there is one more thing they mentioned. And if you have seen our previous video talking about Thresh, you know what this is. Day 234. That creepy librarian was lurking around the vault again yesterday. Something about him is unsettling, and I get the sense he should not be leaving his post. He clung to his lantern as if there wasn't appropriate lighting in the chamber. I know I should not be suspicious of our hosts, but that man, Grail, there is something dark in his mind, I'm sure of it. Yes, of course, if you have seen our previous video, you know that Grail is the real name of Thresh. And from the very beginning, Thresh has been lurking around watching the Vasani's progress. That's because, this entire time, researching how to use the white mist to fuel the memory magic and how to store memories in places, that's something he would be interested in. You see, after the white mist was corrupted and it became the black mist, the Vasani essentially researched the horrors that plague the world. Because the reason why the souls can move along with the black mist, and the reason why Thresh can trap souls inside his lantern, is because of the Vasani research. Unfortunately for the world, it was their magic that made all of this possible. But this is not where the journals end. You see, Ahri came here with only one name in her mind, Yamelo, and thankfully we do have an entry talking about him. This is found on a torn paper in the vaults. For the true magic of a craftsman comes from not molding material to his will, but in finding the inner will of that material and freeing that spirit. The greatest artisans from here to Targon say that Yamelo was a craftsman who could really feel that inner will. I know it sounds strange, but some of his most difficult work was apparently done with ancient fossilized eggs. The spirits of powerful creatures still stirred within. Imagine crafting with such perilous materials, ancient stones imbued with powerful spirits. They are incredibly rare, but I have found some of my own, so that I may follow in Yamelo's footsteps. They say that some of these stones contain spirits that yearn for the moon, some for the stars, and a few for the sun itself. But I have found the greatest of eggs. I feel the soul of a fox within it. No, 3 foxes. This will be my greatest work yet. Unfortunately, we are not sure if these stones are the ones that Ahri has. If that's the case, the reason why the trader thought that Ahri held Yamelo's stones is because this craftsman was trying to imitate Yamelo. And since these stones held fox spirits within, that's why I wouldn't be surprised if this smith was the one who made Ahri stones, and not Yamelo. Personally, the reason why I believe Ahri has the stones described in this journal is because this person had 3 fox spirits inside the stones. If anything, it lines up with Ahri's foxfire, which is literally 3 spirit fires hovering around her. So Ahri's stones most likely don't come from Yamelo. Now, while these are all the journals that are related to Ahri and the Vasani, there is one more interesting entry. Remember, Thresh was interested in the Vasani research, because he himself was interested in trapping souls inside objects. And that's why, later, after the ruination happened, we got one more entry from Thresh, called Spirit Blossom Festival. I hear whispers of a festival in the First Lands where they commune with the dead. How intriguing it must be to speak with those who have long gone. My guests from Ionia make a mention of a sacred flower. They say it blossoms when dead spirits are near. This is something I should certainly investigate. It could make for a rather illuminating discovery into the inner workings of the spirit realm and possibly the so-called afterlife. I must get my hands on those flowers. Maybe it would live nicely inside my lantern. The only reason why I believe Thresh wrote this after the ruination is because he is mentioning his lantern. Before the Vasani were done with their research, I don't believe Thresh was trapping memories inside objects yet. But I could be wrong, and this could actually be Grail, who just started learning how to manipulate souls. And of course, if you have seen the millions of other videos we have on the Spirit Blossom Festival, you know that Spirit Blossom is not just a skin line, it is very much canon, and during the Spirit Blossom Festival, people are able to talk to the dead. While this is actually a really clever way to tie Thresh's skin into the canon story, even though Spirit Blossom Thresh is not actually Thresh, that's just a spirit that looks like him, still, the story makes a full loop because Thresh is actually interested in the Spirit Blossom Festival. However, it didn't really help the confusion, and the Spirit Blossom did predict sexy Thresh.